What's up? Sorry about
No-
that.
Another week's episode of Keep the Change podcast. Robbie, how we doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Just had another great night at El Campesinos, best Mexican restaurant in Marion.
Good old
The
El
great
Tequilas.
bars. Oh yeah,
Hey, I can't wait to next month when I come up there, man. We're definitely gonna have to go.
oh yeah. I'll introduce you to Dee. She'll treat you right, get you hooked up, and food's
Ready
good
for
there.
that?
All good people. My buddy Axel, go out drinking with him occasionally. It's good people over there, and they're less than 50 yards away from my work, so I may regular there a little bit.
All right, so give him a good shout out. What say? Because I always say it's El Tequila. What is it called?
So El Campesino's Mexican restaurant. There's two in Marion, Ohio. There's only one original one, which is on Marion Waldo Road. Don't know the exact address. Right next to Matthews Dodge, my car dealership. And they also have one over on State Route 95 as well. But man, awesome people. Max, the manager owner, super cool dude. All the people that work there are really just top notch people, and the food's great too.
You heard it here, folks. Keep the change on that one. Go and tell him you know Robbie, and then go and get yourself a car afterwards too.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
awesome. So we have an awesome episode for you all tonight. Um, it is March Madness, so March Madness has begun.
Whew.
Before we dive into our rounds 1 and 2 picks, um, we have some NFL news to cover. Just because the tampering period ended, and I don't even know why they call it a tampering period. Everyone knows that these deals are getting made because they get made way too quickly. Um,
yeah.
some notable ones last week, as we said, Carr to the Saints, but really some shocking ones today. And I know specifically from like Cincy, um, a lot of guys went to the Falcons and the Panthers. Von Bell got signed with the Panthers today, which was a big hit for the Bengals. But another former Bengal, and this hasn't been completely official yet, but me and you were just talking about Andy Dalton is projected to sign a $10 million deal, 2 years, 8 million guaranteed to the Panthers, with the Panthers just acquiring the number one overall pick. So what do you think that means then for the Panthers?
I feel like that means the Panthers believe in Dalton as a mentor. A lot of the guys that they get brought in to mentor these top notch, top pick quarterbacks, they are average bodies, but great minds. And that's what keeps them in the NFL for as long as it is. And that's what those coaches are looking for is, hey, teach the intangibles and teach the game and how to read a defense and how to run an offense and how to be a pro to these young guys that are coming in that they're going to pay buku bucks to. And we need to be the face of the franchise. We need you to just teach him. And at this point in his career, that's all Dalton's really got left in the tank. I mean, he was a very mid quarterback at his prime. Never terrible though. Wasn't very many highs and lows. He was pretty baseline.
Yeah,
But
as someone who
he
was a
got you
Bang,
guys to the playoffs how many times?
yeah, as someone who was a Bengals fan or who is a Bengals fan, and having to watch Andy Dalton all those years, he, like you said, he's exactly how you described him. He wasn't terrible. He just isn't your Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
There were some rumors going around that Andy was maybe thinking about going back to the Bengals, which I wouldn't have been upset with. I do think Andy Dalton provides a pretty good backup quarterback. I know for Cincy, where we rely so much on Joe that I don't know if Brendan Allen really is the guy if something were to happen to Joe. So I wouldn't have minded that, but that's I think you're right. The first thought of me was, oh man, did they see something in Bryce Young and CJ Stroud that the Panthers were like, I don't want to draft anyone. But then when you look at the dollar sign, that's backup money, and I think you're right. I think they're bringing him in to be a mentor.
If you're paying a quarterback $5 million a year, he better have a fucking all pro line, Nick Chubb and CMC in the backfield, and 4 all-pro receivers. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's 10% of starting quarterback money, top tier at this point.
Oh yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, you're looking at $50 million a year for a top tier quarterback in today's market, which is going to suck for you guys because
Yes.
you guys got to pay Burrow. So got Chase still on his rookie contract, but everybody else soon going to have to go bye-bye.
Yeah.
And
Where the
Andrew
window,
Berry, Sean Watson, and the Browns, I think they just restructured that contract to clear $35 million in cap space this year.
yeah,
Already signed
the
Tomlinson from Minnesota.
the Bengals are having their window is getting smaller and smaller, and then that also brings me to the Broncos signed Samaje Perine, which that one hurts. I was a big Samaje fan, but it makes sense. Why? Because I do think Samaje is a premier back for any team. He runs the ball really well, pass protects really well. Definitely would have liked to see him stay with the Bengals, but I know that does clear up a little bit of cap space on our end.
Yep. And that's the thing too, I think about being a fan is we always feel like our number 2 running back is a number 1 anywhere else.
Right?
You ask me as a Browns fan, Kareem Hunt, he'd
Well,
go start 15
that's
teams out of the league.
that's
Dearness
actually
Johnson,
true.
he'd start on 12 teams out of the league.
Well, that's actually true with Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is one bad decision away from he could be putting up Derrick Henry numbers right now. He just made a bad decision. So that you actually do have legs to stand on with that argument.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, but we just don't use them. We got to find a way.
Yeah, and then other breaking news: quarterback. Final one. We'll wrap up with 2 more here. So we'll wrap up with the easy one. And I still can't believe we're talking about it. Aaron Rodgers is still yet to make a decision, which if we post this video and he has made decisions,
Lazard signed with the Jets. He made a
just
decision.
just understand this is Tuesday night that we're shooting this. But Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders. What happened there? The Raiders GM comes out and says, "Hey, it's time for us to invest in a young quarterback and sign a young quarterback and get him in the draft." And then you go and pick up Jimmy G. What is going on over there? What you traded in one lemon for another lemon. Nothing again, nothing.
I think Carr's better than Garoppolo.
Yeah, nothing against Jimmy G,
I
but
don't
it's like
understand this at all in any way.
when you're looking at who they got rid of and who they replaced him with, what are you doing?
It's a terrible thing to say, but I said something, to friends a few times before in my life that, it's not for me. I'm not a cheater, but if you're in a relationship and you're going to cheat, you got to cheat up. And if you're the Raiders here, you're going to give up on your franchise quarterback. You got to move up.
Yeah, you can't go
not backwards.
Not a lateral move.
Not a lateral movement. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it didn't make sense at all. I don't know what this means for the Raiders. I don't think it was the smart. Again, nothing against Jimmy G. I just, like you said, what are you trading up? What did you get in return? Derek Carr was just as good, I think.
Yeah.
But what do we know?
Probably at his best better. Yeah. Who are we?
Who are we? Who are we? All right. That's all the NFL news we got. I'm sure a lot. Again, this is Tuesday night. This is I don't even know if I think it's just day 1 technically of like tampering right now. So I'm sure a lot of stuff's going to be coming into the fold. Heck, Tom Brady might even unretire by the time this thing posts.
Give it 2 days.
Let's get into what everyone's really looking for is rounds 1 and 2 of March Madness, baby. This is the time that you can make some coin or you can lose a whole bunch. So let's start off with I'm on the ESPN tournament app, so I'm looking over here on the south side. All right, Alabama and the playing team just got decided. It was Texas A&M, the Corpus team. Who you got in that first matchup?
Man, that's just Bama all day long. Bama's got a tough team. They may win the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool to see 16 seeds upset 1 seeds, but that just doesn't happen.
I don't
Was it
think
Virginia
this.
was the first team that it ever happened to? And it's
Yeah,
happened one time in the history of March Madness. It was cool that it happened once now, but still, one in, you know, close to a million, you know. But
yeah. I agree with you. I don't think a 16 seed couldn't upset a 1 seed, but I don't think it's happened here. I agree with you, Alabama, and I know same with you. Same as you were saying. I think Alabama really has a shot to win this whole thing. All right, next game we got Maryland, West Virginia. Who you picking?
I think I'm going to go with West Virginia. They just always find a way to make it exciting in the tournament. Maryland, they've had an all right season. I haven't watched a ton of college basketball, not as much as I normally do, but I just have always loved West Virginia and basketball tournaments. Ever since they didn't win the game, but I remember being at the game up in Cleveland State's arena way back in the day when Chris Paul was playing on Wake Forest and Mike Gansey was playing for West Virginia University. And they had I believe it was a triple, if not quadruple overtime thriller that I think 8 out of the 10 starters might have fouled out of the game by the end of it. But man, that was the most exciting basketball game ever seen. So since then, I've always pulled for West Virginia a little bit in basketball.
I am right there with you. Go Fighting Irish. Um, yeah, I think they have the better overall team. I think they're better defensively, and their turnover ratios are a little bit better than Maryland. So I think this could be a again 9 against an 8. So you say an upset here, but I agree with you here. I think West Virginia takes this one. This next game, San Diego State versus Charleston.
Upset.
I do see upset alert happening here. I think San Diego State gets it done, but I think for bettors, this is definitely somewhere that you want to look to Charleston for. What do you think?
I got Charleston winning the game, and not only do I have Charleston winning that game, I have them upsetting. I won't give up the next game, but I also have them upsetting the team that I have winning in our next matchup as well, taking them to the Sweet 16.
You know what? Lock it in. Charleston with the upset. Everyone, you heard it here. Um, that takes us to the next game. Virginia Furman. Who you got here?
Virginia. Virginia's a great basketball program. They're well coached. They do well year in, year out. We talked about them having that being the butt end of that upset a couple years ago, but still, I see Virginia winning this one, and you know, shout out to Aaron Tompkins. He was a senior my freshman year in high school at Perry High School. Went to Furman, played basketball there. Dude was a good guy. Just a hell of a left-handed hitter, a smooth stroke. Remind me of a Michael Brantley.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Virginia, again, they are the team that lost to a 16 seed, but I agree with you. I think this year they've had a good consistent season. I see Virginia winning this one. All right, we're going Creighton versus the Wolfpack of NC State. What do you got here?
I got NC State. Just on these games where it's pretty even matchup and you have somebody coming from a bigger conference going up against a smaller conference, if they're comparable in records, unless that smaller conference team's 5-loss team or less, I tend to favor the team that's played better competition throughout the year.
And the ACC has been tough this year. I agree with you. It's so funny. I am also picking NC State here too. I agree with you. The ACC has been a really, really flooded deep conference. I agree with you on that one.
Heck yeah. Next game, don't think we have much to talk about there. Baylor may be the top 2 seed in the tournament, which I think the South may just be the best bracket in
Yeah,
the tournament here.
yes, it really. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Alabama has one of the tougher routes.
Yep.
Them or Purdue. I think Purdue also has a pretty tough route.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I think Baylor. I think Baylor wins this one easy. Next up, we got Missouri, Utah State.
I feel pretty good about Missouri on this one. Honestly, don't know much about Utah State. haven't watched a single game of theirs this year, but come on, Mizzou, let's go. What was old boy Neil Rena, or didn't he coach at Mizzou? So
Yeah,
we
Neil.
got a Berg tie in there. So
Shout
why
out to
not?
Neil Renna. He's not there
Let's
anymore, but he used to coach there, so we'll take it.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna go with Mizzou at this point. We got a tie there, so we're gonna pull for
You know what's funny? I was already going for Mizzou, but when you said that, now I'm even more locked in now. Heck yeah.
them.
And then I think the last one rounding out the South, I think to me, I think Arizona wins this one pretty easily. I think Princeton's been great, but I mean, we're talking Arizona's been lights out all year.
Yeah,
I like Arizona on this one.
I'm with you there, 100%.
All right, that takes us to the East. I'm going with the first game, Purdue versus the to be determined, but I don't really care who it is. I'm going Purdue. I think Purdue again.
Stop that massive.
Yeah, that dude Eddie, he is
It's
unreal.
it's not fair. It feels like when I was in fourth grade playing basketball against Kenny Freeze, that was probably 6'8", 6'9" at the time in sixth grade. And just no matter what you did, that dude just grabs the ball, just puts it
Yeah,
right back up. He can miss 6, 7 shots in a row, and it's just reaching right over you.
yeah, he's unreal. I think Purdue wins this one. I would say take the spread too, whatever the
Oh
spread's.
yeah,
Purdue's got that. All right, next up we got, and again, to me, I know we're not going to get into it tonight because we're just going over the first two rounds. But I know Purdue's one of my favorites to win the whole thing. All right, Memphis FAU. I'm locking in the Tigers, man. I think Memphis
oh
had
yeah.
a great conference run. They put it up on Houston, who's a great team. I think Memphis takes this one easily.
I agree with you. There's a lot of young raw talent on that Memphis team. Uh, think they, I don't know if they beat Purdue, but I think they're going to give a run for their money. I think that's going to be an exciting second round matchup.
Yeah, that's
It's going to
definitely.
come down to who has the ball last at the end of the game in that.
So Purdue, I think, has one of the tougher routes to the conference championship because they have more potentials to be upset. I do see Memphis as being a potential upset to Purdue on that one.
Yep.
Um,
I
Speaking of potential upsets, I really see Oral Roberts upsetting Duke here on this.
got the same thing right there, buddy. Or that's my upset of the bracket. Oral Roberts over Duke.
I just think Duke has gotten by on its name. I just I see this. And again, we were kind of talking offline before the show. There was a guy who came out with his betting strategy, and again, this has come from a couple years now of me being in sports betting. Is if you put one unit on any 12, 13, 14, 15, or 16 seed over the last like 3 years, there's been profits on that. So I do see this one though as being a upset alert. I do think again Duke. The guy was even saying he's like of those games, you can already say that because there's like 30 or there's 16 games total there. 8 of them are going to be blowout wins by like 22 points. So you already have to assume that you're going to lose those ones. So this one I think this one to me is either going to be Oral Roberts wins or Duke blows them out by 20. But I do see that I just have this feeling that Oral Roberts is going to get this one done.
I'm with you there.
All right, next up we got Tennessee, Louisiana. I honestly really like Tennessee. Tennessee has been strong all year. I'm liking Tennessee on this one. What about you?
I'm with you. I like Tennessee as well. I think, I know we were just talking about upsets, but I also think if Purdue makes it past Memphis, this Tennessee team's another team that there's a lot of teams in this East bracket that can give them a run for their money on the good night.
Yeah, this is a tough conference on this bracket. That takes us to the Friars versus Kentucky, bro. There's my boy Mikey Overs over in I don't know if Mikey, I don't know if you go to Providence, but you've been rocking Providence all year long. And this is a great matchup for Providence. I'm really liking Providence against Kentucky on this one.
Man, that hurts me. I'm from Ohio. I'm an Ohio State football fan. Since fourth grade, I've been a Kentucky basketball fan. It's just always been my favorite college basketball team. It was it just came from the basketball league that we played in that Perry Youth League when I was talking about matching up with Kenny Freeze, former Xavier center, ended up being a 7-footer. I just I had no team in college basketball to that point. That was my team, so I've rode with them to this day. Through the Tubby Smith era, back in Rajon Rondo was their starting point guard at the time. I've just always been a Kentucky fan, and they have so much raw talent.
Yes.
This team, if they figure it out, they can beat any team in the nation on any given night. They've just been so up and down and just so inconsistent. But hey, March Madness is only about having to win 5, 6 games.
I will admit, ever since Calipari decided to get rid of the cell phones in the locker room when he made that rule during the season, they have gone better. But the Friars of Providence have been great all year long, and I have won a lot of money off Providence this year. So I'm rocking them with them one more time.
I think this is our first. This is our
Weird,
first disagreement on
weirdly
one.
enough, I think it is too, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right. Next up, we got Kansas State, Montana State. I see this one as Kansas State all day. I think Kansas State's been a great team.
Yep.
I know they've played a lot of the top 10 teams in the country all year long, really competitively, and have done really, really well. I see Kansas State taking this one.
Yep, I'm with you there.
And I would even say take the spread
I,
on this one.
I was just saying, I think it's going to be one of those 20-point blowouts.
Yeah,
that
I
you were
say
talking about.
whatever the spread is,
And
take the spread.
this next matchup, this one hurts my heart to make this bet because I had the pleasure, the honor of getting to meet Coach Izzo in high school at a camp. He came to see Kenny and got to meet him one day, just shook his hand. Coach Izzo is a top-notch coach, but I just don't see them winning this game. I got USC.
I
That.
also have USC here, and mostly because I'm a Big Ten fan guy too. Again, I'm a Hoosier guy.
Yep.
I love Indiana. There's just been so much inconsistency across the whole division. And again, I think that's one thing that worries me about Purdue is that the fact that Purdue is a team that's lost to Indiana. I don't think they've been consistent enough, and I think USC has done their job well enough. I see this being an upset. I see USC getting this one done. All right, that's rounding us up for the East. That's going with Marquette, Vermont. For me, I'm going Marquette all day. I think Marquette's been great this season. I see them.
Don't talk there.
Yeah, I see them winning this one easy. You got Marquette too?
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, starts us off with the Midwest. Houston versus Northern Kentucky. I love Houston. I think they've been well coached all season, and there's a reason why they're the number 1 seed. I think Houston gets this one done.
Yep, I'm with you. I think it's going to be easy. I don't think Houston has much to worry about. As much as I hate to say this, because one of my 4 teams I have to win it in our pool at work happens to be coming from the Midwest, but it's not Houston.
Yeah, I think this is one. Weirdly enough, this is one of the easier routes to whoever gets out of this one.
Yeah.
I think this one easier. Iowa, Auburn. Again, I think Iowa has the potential, but I see this. I haven't picked this one yet. I'm waiting to hear yours.
I got Auburn.
Okay, because every part of me wants to say Iowa should win this game, but right?
Big Ten lets me down every year, man. Every year the Big Ten finds a way to let me down.
All right, I'm locking that in, Auburn, because again, I've been so worried about. I'm like, it makes sense. Iowa's been every year consistent, and you said the Big Ten, they're always okay, and they're always good, top quality teams. But I just feel like this year the Big Ten's been so inconsistent, and so to me, I think Auburn wins this one.
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, next up, we have Miami Drake. Now, if this wasn't for injuries, if Miami didn't have so many injuries, I really do think Miami wins this game easily. But because Miami has so many injuries right now, I do see this as another upset alert. I do see Drake taking this one.
Hey, we got our second disagreement. This is the only number 5 seed that I picked to beat a 12 seed. I got Miami beating Drake.
I think Miami's been good all year, but the tournament they had a couple players get hurt.
Yep.
I do think that this is one of those ones where I think Miami's just playing with a short hand.
Hey, that just means they got fresh legs and they got that U swag, so it's all right. They're all feeling good.
Yeah,
Miami
and again,
has
I'm a
the world right now.
I'm a U fan. I'm thinking just logically. But I could definitely see Miami, like you said, Miami's definitely a well-rounded team. I just think that it just was a bad time for them.
Yeah.
All
Do we
right.
need to talk about this next game? I mean,
Well,
I know where your heart lays.
so here's the thing. My heart's with Indiana, but I see this is again one of those ones where I could see Indiana really messing this one up.
Can't read, can't write, Kent State. Oh, good.
Kent State has an unbelievable centers and forwards that are just powerhouses in there. But Indiana should win this game. Like on paper, everything around Indiana should be making a good run here in this tournament.
Yeah.
But
wait for some stuff later.
This is one of those ones, though. Please tread lightly on this. Do not take Indiana spread here. But Indiana should win this game. I have them to win this game, but I could see them. This is being one of those ones where they just the first round just not coming prepared and blowing it. All right, Iowa State versus the play-in team. Honestly, to me, Iowa State's been suspect. A lot this.
I know it's not fun to pick play-in teams because they have to win 2 games to pick that one. But I got Pitt.
Yeah, I'm with there. I think Iowa State's has been too inconsistent. So I'm rocking with whoever the play-in team is, and I agree with you. I think Pitt wins this one. All right, Xavier, Kennesaw State. I got Xavier all day on this one. Yeah, I think they've been a great team all year. All right, Texas A&M versus Penn State.
Rocking A&M. So I don't know who the dude was. Penn State's got a guy that has an exact imitation of Lamar Stevens jump shot. Plays for the Cavs, number 2 all-time leading scorer in Penn State men's basketball history. So that just means that their shooting coach down there is doing a hell of a job at recreating shots. Because I watched this dude take 2 jump shots in the Big Ten tournament the other day at work. And I swear I thought I was watching a Cavs game and Lamar Stevens was taking these threes. So all that being said, I was still rocking with A&M.
I agree with you. I actually thought A&M was going to be the upset against Alabama. I think, again, another reason why I think Alabama is going to make a deep run here. Alabama's just got so many good 3-point shooters, and they really manhandled Texas A&M. But I think that's just an outlier game where I think Texas A&M, it doesn't say anything bad against A&M. It just shows how good Alabama is. I think Texas A&M wins this. I think they get the job done here. All right, and last we got Texas versus Colgate. For me, I'm rocking Texas. I think Texas has been one of the best teams in the nation all year.
Yep, I'm with you there. I think that one's a pretty easy one. And also going up, I guess that finishes up the Midwest there for us.
Yeah, and I think Texas is just – I think we said this like a couple podcasts ago. The number 1 team in the nation this year hasn't been safe all year. I don't know if I don't think there was a team in that was at least number 1 for more than a week. I think this has been lots of changing, lots of upsets. Texas had its shot there for a little bit. Texas is that team. So I do think that they are one of the best teams in this tournament. I don't think, and again, nothing against Colgate. I just think that they get the job done here. Yep. All right. That brings us to the West, Kansas versus Howard. I mean,
that's where it gets kind of fun.
Yeah. I think Kansas gets the job done. I wouldn't be surprised if they got upset, but I think Kansas. I think again, I see this one as being one of those big blowout wins.
Yep, I'm with you there. I got Kansas winning big in the first, and that's where their tournament ends.
Yeah, good route, good run, but yeah, good run. Howard.
That's my first number 1 seed getting knocked off this year. I got Kansas.
All right, and then Arkansas, Illinois. Again, I can't trust a Big Ten team right now, so I'm rocking with Arkansas.
I'm with you. I got them as well. I literally just almost across the board, with the exception of Indiana and This is the only one I can think of off the top of my head. I bet against Big Ten schools this year.
Yeah, Indiana, Purdue for me are really the only two that
Yeah, that was the
are
other one I
worth
was
anything.
thinking of.
St. Mary's, VCU. I think VCU has a great team, but I think St. Mary's gets this job done here.
I just, it's hard not to rock with those military boys at Virginia Commonwealth once they get to the tournament after they made that long run a few years ago.
Yeah, and that was with one of the guys I played basketball with Curse.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was fun to watch that happen. But
Heck
again,
yeah.
St. Mary's has been just kind of they've been just really consistent all year. And again, like a guy who's won a bunch of money off St. Mary's this year, I think they get this one done. But I definitely, again, as anyone can say, the 12s upset the 5s. It's going to happen. This definitely is going to be a close game. I would definitely probably take VCU points on this one.
Oh, for sure.
UConn, Iona. I'm taking the Wolfpack on this one, or the
Yep.
Huskies. The Huskies on this one. I'm liking UConn on this one. What about you?
I'm with you. I got UConn as well. Iona's got a pretty tough squad, but I just always like UConn. Been a fan since back in the Emeka Okafor days.
Same. TCU versus the playing team. I'm rocking TCU. The Horned Frogs have been good, not just in college football, but they've been great in college basketball too all year.
Yep, I actually got a buddy that I don't know how the hell he came up with it, but has TCU winning the tournament in one of his brackets. So
That's nuts. I
yeah,
like
yeah,
that though.
that
That's
happens.
awesome.
He's probably going to be one of the 1,000 people that pick that in the world.
Next up we got Gonzaga versus Grand Canyon. I see Gonzaga. I see the Bulldogs getting this one done.
Yep, I got Gonzaga as well. And speaking of Grand Canyon, shout out to another Berg alumni. I saw Rachel Ferguson, formerly coached at Grand Canyon, got a job as an assistant coach at the University of North Carolina today. So that's pretty
Shout
cool.
out.
Always,
Shout out
always
to
cool to see
Fergie.
Berg people doing big things.
Shout out to Fergie. Grand Canyon lost a good one right there. I did see that too. Good job, Rachel. All right, and then we got Northwestern versus Boise State. This one is a toss-up for me.
Holy
So
shit! I picked a Big Ten team.
I was about to say, like, I guess Northwestern, but no one else. This is gonna be the one where it's like, oh, so you know what? Just because of that, I'm going Boise State.
Yeah. That's probably the accurate pick there, but whatever. We'll roll with it. It's what the paper says, so we're
All
gonna
right,
stick with
you
it.
take Northwestern, I'll take Boise State.
Because after that, I got my baby. This is my one. I'm hoping wins it for me is UCLA. I got
Yeah,
UCLA picked out of a hat at work today, so
I think UCLA wins this one easily.
yeah, I think they got that Javier dude that's been playing there for like 8 years. He's like a 28-year-old, 17th year senior, but I'm hoping that he can help pull it off for him.
Yeah, I think that gets done. All right, we are running short on time, so we're gonna run through this, but that's okay. Round of 32. All right, so now that goes. I got Alabama, West Virginia. I see Alabama winning this one.
I got Bama as well. And next round, I got another upset. I got my boys at Charleston
You know what?
beating Virginia.
Lock it
Is
in.
what-
Everyone, Charleston's making it to the Sweet 16. Count it right
Heard
here.
it here first.
You heard it here first. All right, next up we got NC State Baylor. What you got here?
Bears going to do it. Baylor's got that.
I agree with that. Go Baylor. All right, Arizona, Missouri. I'm rocking Arizona here. I think Arizona's
Yep.
been great all season.
I'm with you. I'm same here. And then moving down to the East, man, that's 7-4, dude. He's hard to compete with. I'm sticking with Purdue.
If there's a game that Purdue's gonna lose, it's gonna be this one. But I think they get the job done. I think they get the job done. If there's a team to upset Purdue before they get to the Final Four, Memphis is the team to do it. But I think you're right. I think they get the job done. All right, Oral Roberts, Tennessee.
Tennessee, Rocky Top.
I agree with you on this one. I think they've just been too consistent and too good all year. All right, to me, I got Providence, Kansas State here, which is a matchup that's already been shown that the Providence can match up with. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with Providence again.
I like it. I like it. And hey, I'm coming with the same starting point in the bracket. I got Kentucky winning here too. So we both have Kansas State getting upset at this point.
Kansas State's gonna get upset.
Don't matter who they're playing.
but I hope it's Providence or Kentucky. One of the two. One of the two. One of the two. Just not Kansas State.
Yeah.
All right. And then lastly, we got USC Marquette. I see Marquette getting this one done.
I got an upset. I got USC beating Marquette right here.
All right.
Uh,
I
we'll
like
see.
it. I think if there's I think in these games, I think it's really a coin flip. I would take whoever's got the plus points in these games for in those games, the Marquette or the Marquette, I think they beat Vermont pretty easily, but in terms of USC Marquette, whoever's getting points, I would take that. I think this is going to be a close one.
Yep.
I think
Moving up
like
the
you were saying
middle.
earlier. I think you were saying earlier, right? It's like whoever has the ball last, I think wins that one. All right.
Yep.
Yes, we got Houston, Auburn. I see Houston taking this one.
Yep, I'm with you there. I got Houston moving on in the Sweet 16, matching up with your Hoosiers.
All right, I like it. Hoosiers, come on, get the job done. Don't lay an egg, Indiana. All right, and then I got Xavier moving on to the next round.
Man, we got a really similar bracket at this point because I do too.
And then
It's
I
funny.
see, yeah, right. Right. This is weird.
We haven't talked about this at all.
Nothing. We literally I'm actually doing this right now. I've done my research, but I've been doing this right now. Robbie's actually put some work into it, but that's how weird this has been. All right, the Battle of Texas. I see Texas A&M getting this one done. You got the horns. All right.
Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns.
I love it. I love it. All right. Then we got Kansas, Arkansas. I think Kansas wins this one.
I got my first 1 seed going down.
Okay.
Arkansas with the upset over Kansas.
The Razorbacks, and that's a good one to look at. I would say if there's an upset alert to look out for, Arkansas upsetting Kansas is very, very doable here. All right. Next up, we got St. Mary's, UConn. I think UConn gets this one done. I think you had a different outcome, UConn versus.
I got UConn,
VCU.
VCU in this game, but I also have the same outcome. I have UConn winning it as well at that point. So moving down to the bottom half of the West, I have TCU and Gonzaga matching up with Gonzaga winning again pretty easily. As much as TCU has been a fun story this year, I don't see that fairy tale running on as long as it did in football.
No, I think Gonzaga wins this one, but definitely be weary of the points there. I don't know if this is essentially a blowout. And then I'm rocking with UCLA over Boise State on this last one.
I'm with you. Little preview. I got UCLA going to the Final Four.
Heck yeah. Let's roll, baby. All right, everyone. That was hard. Dang, we did that really quickly. Look at that. That's our first and second round matchups. Next week, we'll give you who we think will go to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final Four. Why we got a little bit of time left. Who's your really early prediction? I think for me to be a national champion this year, I think Alabama gets it done. What about you?
Man, my pocketbook says UCLA because that's what I pulled in our work pool. My heart says Kentucky, but my head says Bama.
Bama's just
they just have too many. They got two guys that could be the best player on the court in any given game against any team in the nation. And you can win with one guy like that. But having two guys of that caliber, just makes it tough to beat because all it takes is one of them being on and you can win the game.
Yeah, it's unreal. And their 3-point shooting is just so good. All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. We love you all for the support. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. And as always, keep the change.
Thanks, everybody.